Hello everyone, Storm 11 here. Today we'll be having a quick update on the tropics here, but we're also going to be talking about what impacts the remains of Ida could bring really anywhere from the lower Ohio Valley up to across parts of the Mid-Atlantic Northeast, where some places could see a lot of rainfall, even including some severe weather as well. So we're going to get started with the National Hurricane Center outlook here, and you can see here, it's active out there, but in reality here, there's not going to be a whole lot going on here, at least there's a threat to the United States. At this point here, there's no system having a threat, exception for Ida, of course. But we do have Tropical Depression Kate here. That'll be continuing as a fish storm here, having no threat to land. We actually had Tropical Storm Julian. That was in the northeastern Atlantic. That's moving out to sea as well. That's continuing as a fish storm. We actually have Invest 90L in the main development region. That is a monstrous tropical wave that's come off of Africa there, and there's a good opportunity this thing here may become a hurricane in the next couple of days. But the good news with that one there is the fact there's going to be no threat to land at that one as well, which we'll check out the hurricane models later in the video. We also got this disturbance here to watch here as well. Kind of similar spot where Ida was, but the difference here is this is going to be a different type of trophic type of situation. That'll make things a little bit more difficult here for our tropical system to develop. So we're keeping the chances low, but we'll watch that system closely over the next couple of days. But the main part of this video here is going to be about tropical depression Ida, and it's going to be bringing flash flooding issues. So this is the current watches and warnings here for the Mid-Atlantic region. And areas in the dark green here, these are flash flood watches here. And these are areas that need to monitor for the potential for a lot of rainfall that could produce some flash flooding across these regions here. It really expands from northern Alabama, northern Georgia, northeastern Mississippi, through the Tennessee Valley, the lower Ohio Valley region, the Smoky Mountains, kind of goes up along the Appalachian Mountains into parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and even into parts of the southern New England states as well. So this is a pretty large area here, and there's millions of people under a flash flood watch that's undergone for the potential for some flooding problems as well. But the good news here is after the system here passes by here, there's going to be much cooler air across these areas in here. It's going to actually go feel like more like fall, which meteorological fall will be tomorrow as well. So kind of going on right on time here for meteorological fall, which I may issue a September 2021 forecast maybe either later today or tomorrow. We'll see. But in these green boxes here, there's a lot of green boxes here. Those are flood warnings here, maybe for those creeks and streams there. They're currently in a flood stage as well. But don't be surprised to see more flash flood warnings across some of these areas in here as well. But where does the flooding kind of start today? Well, it's going to be more focused across parts of the lower Ohio Valley and parts of the Tennessee Valley as well. So areas in the red here is areas that need to be focused on with this heavy rain potential here that could lead to possibly some significant flooding. So you got one here that includes southwestern Pennsylvania, parts of the northwestern part of West Virginia, southeastern Ohio, and also expands into parts of central Kentucky, the Bluegrass region as well. We also got another moderate risk area across parts of northern Georgia, upstate South Carolina, southwestern North Carolina, southeastern Tennessee, and far northeastern Alabama. And most of those areas are mountainous regions, so it doesn't take a whole lot of rain to get flooding problems as well. Even in the areas in the Cypress area, which is in the yellow, still has that opportunity to see some flooding problems. It's just areas in the red here that has the better opportunity to see flooding and also see some high rainfall totals today as well. Then the flash flooding threat shifts to the northeast tomorrow, and this could be a big day for some of these areas in here. We can see several inches of rain across some of these areas in here. So we'll check out the HRRR model in a moment. But we do have a moderate risk, really anywhere from eastern West Virginia and central West Virginia. That also moves it to northern Virginia, most of Maryland, northern Delaware, the southeastern half of Pennsylvania, most of New Jersey, far southern New York, most of Connecticut as well within that mod risk there. And that's where we have that better opportunity to see some flooding. On the southern side here, we can see some severe weather as well. This is going to be a frontal low here. As soon as Ida connects with the stationary front, it'll be moving to the northeast. and it'll bring in heavy rainfall kind of along in the north side of the low. And on the southern side of the low could be some severe weather. There'll be some instability to work with, decent amount of wind shear. So there's going to be a severe weather risk. And the main threat will probably be damage to winds and maybe some isolated tornadoes as well, which we'll check out the SPC outlook in just a moment. And then on day 3, the flash flood risk kind of stays a little bit more focused across parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine as well. But really, after that, the flash flooding threat is gone and item moves out of the way. So let's talk about the heavy rainfall potential. So again, areas that need to focus on the flash flood potential. You got one area in here. You also got another area to watch in here as well. The areas have circled blue will be areas that need to be monitored for flash flooding potential. You'll start to see Ida here, at least the remains of Ida. It's going to start to connect on the stationary front, and this will be more of a frontal low at this point here, and won't really be a tropical low here. And you will start to see this start to continue to move a little bit quicker to the northeast as well. And you'll have severe weather on the southern side of this, and also flash flooding potential on the northern side as well. I mean, check out the swath of light to moderate rains there across Ohio and Pennsylvania. A lot of rain coming for those folks. Let's go back to 12Z here so we could go a little further out with this here. We'll actually change over to reflectivity here. This will kind of give us an idea where some of those heavier rains will be, some of the heavier rainfall for some of these storms here. Which will take a moment to load here. So you'll see here as we kind of continue on throughout the day today, you'll start to see here a couple areas that need to be monitored today. So you got one across parts of southern Ohio and parts of central Kentucky that may go up to across parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And here's another area that needs to monitor here, with storms kind of going from south to north a little bit. And those will train over some of the same areas, which can produce quite a bit of rainfall down there as well. And you'll start to see this flash flooding risk start to shift further to the northeast here. You also do notice here, kind of a little bit earlier in the day here, there's a couple of good thunderstorms moving across parts of Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey overnight. Maybe a little overnight risk for severe weather. But check out this band of just moderate to heavy rain over a pretty large area. Most of Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, eastern Ohio. This will move into across parts of the New England states as well. And you'll start to see on the southern side here, start to lit up with some thunderstorms here, and you do see here it's mostly dry across those areas in there, so that's going to lead to a little bit more of an unstable atmosphere. And then bam, you start to see some thunderstorms starting to get going across these areas in here, and some of those could be supercells out there as well. But check out that band of just very heavy rain across most of Pennsylvania. There could be some major flooding problems up there. But let's get a couple soundings further south real quick. So this is Southeastern Virginia. Shows a decent setup here. It's not one of the best setups ever, but it's not too bad. Not much wind direction of height though, but there is some storm felicity though, so which can lead to a tornado threat. Same way with the hodograph can also lead to a tornado threat. Strong low overlap rates could lead to some isolated damage winds. And downdraft cape is below 800. But also the Cape profile is a little bit too skinny here, so most of these storms here may be on the weaker side, but there's still that opportunity for some supercells out there as well, so we'll still watch for that potential as well, which does continue to parts of North Carolina as well, and doesn't look to be much any better down there by the looks of it. Let's go into eastern North Carolina, maybe a little better area. There we go. Wind shear does decrease though as you get further south. That's pretty typical, but it's still not too bad of a setup here for some severe weather as well. It doesn't look to be a favorable environment for really much of anything here. Maybe some isolated strong wind gust may be possible there, and a very brief tornado may be possible as well. But you do see that severe weather threat kind of shift a little bit to the northeast here, a little focus closer to that low, but it's also that wave of just very heavy rain across those areas as well as you move up to the northeast as well. Let's check out those rainfall totals here indicated by the HRRR model here. And this is probably going to show some pretty high rainfall totals across some of these areas as well. You do see parts of Kentucky getting a lot of rain, especially to parts of southern Ohio and northwestern Virginia, really later today into the overnight hours, even including across parts of northern Virginia and southeastern Tennessee into parts of the southwestern part of North Carolina. You start to see these rainfall totals really become pretty high as you get into across parts of southeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey. It also expands into parts of southern New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, into parts of Massachusetts as well. Look at that swath of widespread 4 to possibly 8 inches of rain across those areas. That's going to lead to some significant flooding, especially in those mountainous regions where you guys can see flash flooding a little bit more easier than some of the flatter areas of some of these places here. But those mountainous areas is definitely areas to watch here. Those probably will have the better opportunity to see some significant flooding as well. So that's definitely something we need to pay attention to for tomorrow. So if anybody that lives across parts of Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, southern New York, even into parts of Connecticut, Rhode Island, even into as far west as across parts of central Kentucky, northern West Virginia, southeastern Ohio, into parts of Maryland, definitely need to watch for that flash flooding threat for the rest of today into tomorrow. Be sure to have a plan here if you do get under a flash flood warning as well, especially if you live in a flood prone area as well. It may have to be prepared to evacuate if you have to. So that's kind of the flooding side of things done. Let's check out the severe weather side of things. So this is the severe weather outlook today. We got a couple slight risk areas in there. And the better opportunity for severe weather are probably areas in the slight risk. That's where we hit the better opportunity for some isolated tornadoes. We got one across parts of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, like the HER show a little cluster moving through those areas. And then you have another slight risk, which does include the Atlanta, Georgia area. It even moves it to across parts of far eastern, east central uh, Alabama as well. Here's your tornado probabilities. Tornadoes will be a possibility, even areas up and along into parts of the Appalachian Mountains as well, and within that 2%. Damaging winds, the greatest threat will be across parts of the Mid-Atlantic area. Hail is not expected from any of these storms, but the hail threat looks to stay up into parts of the plains, far northern plains, near the Canadian border. Tomorrow, the severe weather risk is pretty much larger here. This includes nearly 20 million people here within that Slickers area, which includes northeastern North Carolina, the eastern half of Virginia, most of Maryland and Delaware, southern New Jersey, and even for far southeastern Pennsylvania as well. And the main threat will be isolated tornadoes. You can see some supercells out there. Damage winds will also be possible. Hail is not expected with any of those storms. Well, maybe as large as maybe dime-sized hail with some of those storms as well. So anybody that lives in these areas in here definitely need to pay attention to the severe weather threat tomorrow. But I think they're going to maintain the slight risk for right now since the HER model it's not really showing not a whole lot of potential there for a tornado outbreak across those areas. But isolated tornadoes will still be possible across those areas. Like I was saying about that cooler air earlier on, you see with that low pressure system kind of continues to move to the northeast, you start to see this high pressure system that's all the way up to Ontario. That's going to bring in some Canadian air further to the south across those areas in there. That's going to bring in drier air, like the dew points will be in the 50s, and temperatures could stay in the 70s. I mean, that's some really nice weather you're talking about there. Let's check out 3 o'clock on Thursday. You got temperatures, you got widespread 70s across most of the Ohio Valley here, even to across parts of Tennessee could stay in the 70s. But across the southeast, so some parts will stay in the low 80s. I mean, fall is coming, folks. If we check out the temperatures here, you do see here there is some much cooler air across some of these regions in here as well. Mostly 70s here. It's a little bit warmer in the Carolinas, but the dew points though will definitely make a difference here. I mean, look at these dew points here, kind of sticking in the 50s, which is something you don't see very often this far south here across parts of Alabama. I mean, this is late August to early September, and we got dew points in the low 50s, low to mid 50s. It's not something you see very often, but that gets to show you there is much more comfortable air coming behind the system here, but it won't last too much longer here. Another system will start to move in here, pumping in more summertime feel type of air back into across parts of the Midwest as well later this weekend here, which may bring in another cold front. It may bring in a reinforcing shot of some more fall air as well. Let's kind of go back to the tropics here. So we kind of talked about Ida here. So we'll check out tropical depression Kate here, and you'll see the track here. It's not really going to go much of anywhere at all. You can see here, no threat to land. Expected to stay as a tropical depression here for most of its lifetime, which is some good news there. And then you got Invest 99, not 99, Invest 90L in the main development region. I mean, this is a monstrous tropical wave here, and this may become a hurricane in the next couple days. Which here it is on an infrared satellite, and there's a lot of convection around that main circulation there as well. And here's a hurricane most track here, and you can see here, no threat to any land here, which is some good news here because this thing here may become a pretty big system here. And here's the intensity guidance here, and most of them show at least a category 1 hurricane. So it seems like a hurricane seems likely with the system here, and even a decent chunk of them bring up to a major hurricane seems to be a possibility as well. So yeah, then again, a major hurricane may be possible out of the system. Here's the GFS ensembles here. Maybe a little underdone with the well, overdone, I should say, with the pressure here. I think the pressure may be lower than what it shows here, but it does show a strong tropical system out there as well. But then again, none of the members show it going to any land. Here's the GFS ensemble with the parallel, and you do see here, then again, no threat to land for really any of the members here showing no threat to land. But we'll still monitor this system here. This still could change here over the next couple days here, but it'll be a system we'll probably monitor here very closely here since this may become a pretty big system. But right now it's looked to be mostly be a fish storm. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, leave it in the comment section down below. Alright, you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.